Hey everybody, it's Stellar Steel, and it's time to steal yourself with another long episode of Metroid Zero Mission. I know it's been a long time. I'll stop now. But there was a reason for that, because I needed to gather a lot of assets. But anyways, let's get right into the stuff we missed. So first things first, when you clear the game on your cartridge, you unlock the original Metroid from the NES era. The original Metroid is similar to Metroid Zero Mission, with being the fact that this is a remake of the game. Most of the layout is similar to the remake. So if you've played Zero Mission a lot, I recommend going to this blind to see how well you fare for a nice little challenge. Although a guide is still heavily recommended unless you like to do some late night 80s wandering for good old nostalgic purposes. It is nice to have this because you get to go back to its roots, but I don't really recommend it unless you are a very determined, hardcore person with a lot of patience. So anyways, moving on. If you beat the game on normal mode, you unlock hard mode. Hard mode is where you take double damage. Enemies have harder variations themselves, including bosses. Energy tanks only add 50 energy instead of 100. Missile tanks give you 2 instead of 5. Super missile and power bomb tanks give you a measly 1 instead of 2. Yeah, good luck with this. It's pretty challenging, and I do really recommend this to veteran players, and unless you've gotten your hands behind this skill. I've never done this myself, admitting this unfortunately, but I'm just doing this so at least you guys can enjoy it yourself. Next, I'm going to talk about a very strange feature. Time attack mode is something you can unlock by pressing up, left, right, down on the save file of a beaten normal mode save. All this really does is it's a built-in stopwatch for keeping track of your best times from that save, even though the times are displayed right next to your save files anyways. This does unlock a feature on the options menu with a scoreboard system if you beat this save file while playing on time attack mode, and other save files as well. But I don't really see the point in locking this behind a button combo press of all things. They could have just added this by default and made it so that way all your times was added in. They could have just showed like this is clear and normal, this is clear and easy, this is what was 100%ed. That kind of good stuff. I don't really understand what the developers were thinking here. Anyways, so if you clear Metroid Zero Mission in hard mode, you get to unlock the sound test. For those of you who've played plenty of Kirby games, such as how the fact that I was playing Kirby Dream Land 2, and now it's already been like 2 months since I cleared that game, but anyways, enough reminiscing about the fact that it's been so long. It's simply just a compilation of sound effects and the game's amazing OST. Yeah, that's about it. Enjoy. Now onto the final portion of Metroid Zero Mission before I talk about the unused content. If you own a copy of Metroid Fusion, you can link this game up with a link cable to then unlock various image gallery art that wasn't available in the North American version of Metroid Fusion for some reason. This is a nice feature, but I don't really understand why, of all things, the art was locked behind this. But apparently this trend still goes on with the Metroid series to this day, because they also locked Metroid 2 art behind an amiibo. So I guess this is a trend to unfortunately stay with the series. But I would like to also thank my friend Blue Metroid, a good friend of mine, for letting me borrow his Metroid Fusion cart, because I don't actually own one myself to unlock this art, so you're only seeing this because his generosity prevented this video from being delayed even more than it was. Thank you. Now next I want to talk about the various unused stuff that I never did mention while I was playing through this game. From Super Metroid, Crocomire was supposed to make a return from these games, or technically a first appearance. I know, the Metroid timeline is pretty screwy, but this can be proven by the fact that assets of Crocomire were actually found in the game's code of animations and models of him moving. Well, it doesn't actually move, but it just shows various movie animations. There are some even wounded textures of him too, possibly caused by what maybe you would do this to him. A fan did recreate this fight in the game's engine, and kudos to you for doing this, for an amazing job of implementing something by reusing unused assets and creating it by yourself. It always is nice to see people reuse unused assets that never did get attention, but a lot of these unused things really deserve a lot of the credit they get because it wasn't added in the game, and there would have been some really cool features. Looking at you, Tetris Trackers from Four Swords Adventures. Why did you even cancel that, Nintendo? Some other miscellaneous stuff would be the fact that red hatches were apparently supposed to require 5 missiles to unlock instead of 1, just like the original game. Of course, there was also a player's guide for this game, so if you're into that sort of thing, go collect the heck out of them, because not much Metroid memorabilia exists outside of Japan. Even in general, not much exists, so I'm just glad that we got a special edition of Metroid Samus Returns. Why does Europe always get all the cool things, though? Also, can we all just appreciate this Nintendo Power ad for a second? Gotta love tape in early Photoshop. Okay, I was debating whether or not I should have added this. I wanted to make a quick mention about this factor. If you're still playing the GBA version, like I am, for those of you who don't know about save batteries and why they ruin your adulthood, the way Nintendo games would save way back when is Nintendo soldered a small CR2025 onto the board of the game. Not sure if that stays consistent throughout all games, but various Super Nintendo games, Super N64, not Super N64, what? I mean, Super Nintendo games, N64, Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and NES games, and there's probably Game Gear, and there's other older games that use this kind of stuff too. So basically what this does is it gives a constant flow of electricity to your game's board so that it could continue to save data. A very interesting idea on their part. This method by Nintendo has some flaws though. This is a battery after all, and it will wear out eventually, and this means that your game will stop saving and even erase all of your data's saves off your cartridge once it dies. Metroid Zero Mission for some reason used this method. I accidentally discovered this when I was trying to figure out. I thought I had some pirated games, and I was confused at first because I thought this was a pirated game. Looked at some images online, did some research, and came to the conclusion that my game is not a pirated copy. But it's just the fact that Nintendo was an idiot and they decided to install a battery, even though flash memory exists. Don't have no idea why this is a good thing, but a lot of GBA games use flash memory. Which, basically, if you don't know what flash memory is, it can last forever as long as you keep turning your game on from time to time to refresh the data. Flash memory is an amazing thing, although just don't overuse it too much because it can die and SD cards kind of just poop out. Anyways, other cards did make use of this battery, such as Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald have their own time system, just like Gold, Silver, and Crystal, except those games actually had more of a strain on the battery because it was using power for both saving and a built-in clock. So this means that your saves last even shorter with these games because it's using save and a clock. Isn't that nice? Because this bad design by Nintendo, people have come up with their own methods to fix these batteries and allow these games to continue to save. And oh boy, some of these methods can get really creative, from just simply resoldering a new battery to the board by prying off the battery carefully with a sharp edge and putting a new battery on with some electrical tape to hold it. Redneck, anyone? No, I was actually planning on doing that method myself. I've seen methods of people replacing batteries while their Game Boy was turned on, of all things, so that they could extend their life of their saves, because if you don't know, once you remove the battery, it basically ruins the save completely. Isn't that just the amazing power of solid-state technology? Or once you take it out, all your saves are just gone? I gotta love that, but hell, some people thought Nintendo's design with the probe was so bad, people actually installed a brand new battery holder into their cartridges for easy access next time they want to replace their save battery. The list goes on, and people are all devoted about this. There is a huge community based around this as well. I could talk about this for a long time, but I do warn you, if you're going to try to touch the save battery whatsoever, do realize you are messing with the game's physical motherboard software you know, that kind of good stuff, silicone goodness. This stuff is extremely delicate, and be very careful. Make sure to ground yourself if you're dealing with any of this kind of stuff. You could end up seriously damage your game and permanently killing whatever kind of data you had, or even just completely bricking anything whatsoever. That would just suck to lose your nice $250 Earthbound cartridges you just dropped a bunch of money on last week and realize the save battery is dead. Yes, yet again, I'm going to reiterate, yeah, my Let's Play was Earthbound, the original Earthbound cartridge with a save battery that somehow was still existing. In fact, here's a picture of the board on screen. I haven't messed around with any of the save batteries yet myself, but I am going to have to do this in a future project because I have in mind, and I pray that everything goes good when I do. Also, because of the save battery system, it's one of the reasons why Earthbound Beginnings never got an official physical release in the West. Because these batteries at the time spiked the price of the carts, almost double price, and as well as the fact that it takes more time to create the boards. Man, for once I actually wish the password system got implemented into the games so 90s kids could have actually experienced this nice guilt trip that would have eventually have led to some others buying those carts for spiked amounts of prices. Oh wait, that's right, beta copies exist of this game. Alright, now that my rant about flash memory, why it should have been invented a lot sooner, and that everything is I wanted to talk about for Metroid Zero Mission, I can't believe I was able to cram so much of this stuff into this single episode as well. Metroid Zero Mission is a fantastic game that manages to chock so much content replayability in a bite-sized 32-bit cartridge that doesn't have flash memory for some reason of all things, with such glory that you don't see a ton of that out of games today. I really would like to thank my friend Blue Metroid again for letting me borrow his Metroid Fusion copy, and of all you for sticking around after this long hiatus of Metroid Zero Mission. Many of you even cared. More videos on the way, of course. Like, comment, subscribe, bell. I read all the comments. I really do appreciate it. Yet again, Metroid Zero Mission is an amazing game. Thank you all for watching. I will continue to keep uploading as much as I can to this channel. Thanks again, and take care.